Hello and welcome to our financial enlightenment session. Today, we'll be drawing wisdom from an ancient source, the Bible, specifically 2 Chronicles 1:8-12. In this passage, we find a unique conversation between God and King Solomon, a conversation that holds a powerful lesson for us all. Solomon, when offered anything he desired, chose not riches, not power, but wisdom and knowledge. He understood that these were the true treasures, the keys to successful stewardship. In our modern world, where financial success is often measured in material possessions, Solomon's choice seems counterintuitive. Yet it's this very counterintuitiveness that makes it so relevant to our financial practices today. This ancient wisdom teaches us that stewardship is not just about managing resources, but about the wisdom in doing so. It's about understanding that true wealth lies not in what we have, but in how wisely we use it. So let's delve deep into these verses and extract the financial wisdom they hold. In this biblical encounter, God appears to Solomon in a dream, offering him anything he desires. Picture this, a young king, granted an open-ended wish by the Almighty. Most of us might be tempted to ask for wealth, power, or longevity. But Solomon, he makes a different choice. He asks God for wisdom and knowledge to lead his people. Now let's delve into the context. Solomon's request was not made in a vacuum. He was stepping into the shoes of his father David, a giant figure with a remarkable legacy. Solomon felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He understood that his role as a king was not merely about wealth accumulation, but more about wise and just governance. So when presented with a blank check, Solomon asks for wisdom and knowledge. He prioritizes these above riches, honor, long life, or the defeat of his enemies. His request is humble and selfless, focusing on his duty to his people rather than personal gain. Solomon's choice is a powerful lesson for us today, especially in the realm of personal finance. In a world that often equates success with material wealth, Solomon reminds us of the importance of wisdom. He shows us that wisdom and knowledge are the true riches, the ones that lead to good stewardship. Just like Solomon, we are often faced with financial choices. And it's not always about choosing between good and bad, but rather between good and best. We may be tempted to prioritize wealth accumulation, but Solomon's example encourages us to seek wisdom first. This wisdom can guide us to make sound financial decisions, manage our resources responsibly, and avoid the pitfalls of materialism. It can help us understand that wealth is not an end in itself, but a tool for achieving higher goals. This is the essence of good stewardship. So what's the takeaway here? It's simple. When it comes to finances, wisdom and knowledge should be our primary pursuit. And just like Solomon, when we prioritize wisdom, we set ourselves on a path to true financial success. Solomon's choice clearly shows us the value of wisdom and knowledge over material wealth. God's response to Solomon's request is a lesson in itself. As the ancient text reveals, God was pleased with Solomon's choice. Instead of asking for wealth, long life, or the defeat of his enemies, Solomon asked for wisdom and knowledge to lead his people. This request was so noble, so selfless, that it moved God to not only grant Solomon his wish, but to bless him with riches and honor as well. Let's delve deeper into this. God's response wasn't just about rewarding Solomon's good choice. It was about highlighting the value of wisdom and knowledge. God, in his infinite wisdom, knew that these were the real treasures. He knew that with wisdom and knowledge, Solomon would be better equipped to handle any amount of wealth and honor. And so, God granted Solomon's request. The wisdom and knowledge that Solomon received weren't just about ruling his kingdom. They were about stewardship. They were about managing the resources that he had been given and using them wisely for the benefit of his people. But God didn't stop there. Because of Solomon's wise choice, God also promised to give him wealth, possessions, and honor. This was God's way of showing that when we prioritize wisdom in our stewardship, when we manage our resources wisely, we are often rewarded with more. This is an important lesson for all of us today. In a world where we're constantly chasing after wealth and possessions, we need to take a step back and consider what really matters. We need to prioritize wisdom in our stewardship, to make wise decisions with the resources we have. And when we do this, we often find that wealth, possessions, and honor follow, not because we're chasing after them, but because we're managing our resources wisely. We're using our wisdom and knowledge to make the most of what we have, and in doing so, we're creating opportunities for more to come our way. So what does this mean for us today? It means that we need to focus on gaining wisdom and knowledge and using these to manage our resources effectively. It means that we need to prioritize wisdom in our stewardship to make wise decisions with what we have. And when we do this, we will find that wealth, possessions, and honor often follow. This shows us that wisdom in managing resources brings about wealth, possessions, and honor. Now let's talk about the role of wisdom in stewardship. Wisdom, in its simplest form, is the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, and insight. In the realm of finances, it's the compass that guides our decisions, leading us towards responsible and fruitful management of our resources. Imagine your finances as a ship. The size of your ship, that is, your wealth, doesn't dictate how well you navigate the ocean of financial decisions. Instead, it's the captain's wisdom, your wisdom, that steers the ship safely through storms and calm waters alike. So how does wisdom influence stewardship? It takes a wise steward to understand that every financial decision, big or small, has a ripple effect. It's the wisdom that helps us not just chase the windfall, but also appreciate the importance of small, consistent savings. It's the wisdom that reminds us that the allure of quick, high returns often comes with high risks. It's the wisdom that teaches us to diversify our investments, to spread the seeds across different fields, so to speak, buffering us against unexpected financial downturns. But how can we seek wisdom in our financial journey? Firstly, never stop learning. Read books, follow credible financial blogs, take courses, and seek advice from financial advisors. Secondly, learn from your past financial mistakes and successes. Reflect on what led to those outcomes and use those insights to inform your future decisions. Lastly, practice patience and discipline. Remember, building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. To sum up, wisdom is not about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions. It's not about making perfect financial decisions every time. It's about learning from the imperfect ones. It's not about avoiding risks at all costs. It's about understanding and managing risks. Remember, wisdom is the key to responsible and successful financial management. Acquiring wealth and possessions is not a bad thing, but there must be balance. This sentiment is so crucial to understanding how we should approach our finances. Picture a scale, one side laden with gold coins, symbolizing wealth and possessions, the other side, with a light, radiant gem representing wisdom. Now, it's important to understand that the scale should not tip on either side excessively. It's not wrong to accumulate wealth. After all, we need resources to live, to provide for our families, and to contribute positively to society. But when this pursuit becomes our sole focus, we risk losing sight of what truly matters. We risk the scale tipping too far, causing imbalance, instability, and ultimately a fall. Here's the danger of pursuing wealth without wisdom. It can lead to decisions that are short-sighted, self-serving, and ultimately detrimental. It's like trying to navigate a ship without a compass. You might accumulate treasures, but without the wisdom to manage them, you could end up lost at sea. Wealth and possessions are tools, means to an end. And wisdom is the skill to use these tools effectively. It's the compass that guides us in making sound financial decisions, in being good stewards of what we have. So remember, as you accumulate wealth and possessions, prioritize wisdom. Seek it, cherish it, and apply it. Because as we've seen, wealth without wisdom can lead to financial ruin. How then do we apply these principles to our modern finances? Let's take a leaf out of Solomon's book. The age-old wisdom passed down through the ages rings true in today's world of finances. Just as Solomon prioritized wisdom and knowledge over material possessions, we too should place stewardship at the forefront of our financial decisions. This means making wise choices that ensure our resources are used effectively and sustainably. It's about balancing our material goals with the wisdom of decision-making. It's not about foregoing wealth or possessions, but rather about managing them wisely. So how do we go about this? Start by setting clear financial goals and developing a realistic plan to achieve them. Seek knowledge and advice before making significant financial decisions. And remember, stewardship is not a one-time act. It's a continual process of learning, adjusting, and growing. Incorporating wisdom in our financial decisions leads to responsible and successful management of resources. In summary, wisdom is a vital component in financial management. We've discovered Solomon's choice of wisdom over wealth, God's response, and the balance between possessions and wisdom. These principles from 2 Chronicles 1:8-12 remind us to prioritize wisdom in our financial decisions. Let's challenge ourselves to reflect on our financial practices in light of these biblical principles. As we conclude, remember to always prioritize wisdom in your financial journey. Thank you for watching.